The 928th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code MMA SGPN.
Heidi ho degenerinos. That's a good start. I can't even say Heidi ho degenerinos. My catchphrase. I am your host here of this here show. This thing that we call a show. Welcome to the MMA Gambling Podcast, episode 928. I don't even have anyone set up to. Let me see. I'm going to dedicate it to. Do you have someone you want to dedicate it to, Daniel Gumby Vreeland, or you want me to just do something off the fly here?
You just do it off the fly. You're the dedicated.
Poatan Pahea, because he hit for as a big dog. That's something you don't say often. Poatan is a big dog, but he was a big dog in the weekend for us, and he hit. I was hoping someone on Spotify would have a comment like "worst breakdown I've heard," but we've already dedicated one to that gentleman. And our friend Sam has not said anything about me over the past.
Shout out Sam anyway. Shout out
yes.
Sam.
Hasn't said anything over the past few episodes. So, all right, welcome. Oh, I haven't said my name. I am the Spicy Pimp. I still have to change my screen name here. Everything is on the fly today. That is Daniel Gumby Vreeland. We are going to talk some more regional today, which is where we make hay. We haven't had a regional update for a while, but I'm guessing after Gumby's 5-0 or even more than that Octagon performance of the weekend, I'm guessing things are going quite well regional for you still.
Actually, this past week was a push. I did go 5-0 on Octagon. I also went 1-4 on PFL, which was maybe not ideal, but it was basically net zero. So 6-4 weekend, which isn't awful. Obviously it's easier to just cherry pick and talk about Octagon, which is what I did last episode. But it's we're hovering in the high 30s. Haven't cracked 40 yet, but maybe Contender Series tomorrow night has some promise, especially because we're in on a 5-1 underdog in that episode. So maybe go back and listen to our Contender Series episode and find out who it is.
Yeah, did the odds drop and
for
are
two
they surprising to you? Just for two?
For two fights.
Why?
One underdog who I picked is a lot higher than I thought he would be in terms of an underdog. One of my favorites is a little bit lower than I thought he would be in a favorite. So nice odds on the first two fights I saw dropped. I'm assuming the other ones are dropping like as we're recording this.
Come on, you cowards. Our episode's been out since Thursday? You've had plenty of time to listen to what Gumby has to say. All right, we got more regional coming up. After I remind you, if you haven't already, get in your app store, download the SGPN app for free, where you get access to all of our picks, podcasts, articles, giveaways, all that good stuff. All right, we're covering one of our favorite promotions, CFFC, another good feeder promotion for the UFC. Maybe a step below LFA that we covered yesterday, but it's still a lot of good fighters will come out of this promotion. So CFFC 147, Pease versus Pauley, October the 10th, which will be Friday, 9 p.m. So it's going up right against LFA. It's going to be a split screen day for you. East Lake-Orient Park in Florida. Never been there, Gumby. Have you ever been to East Lake-Orient Park?
No, it sounded made up when I saw it the first time.
Yep. That's not the name of the venue. That's the name of the area. It's at the Florida State Fairgrounds. So I've heard of Florida State. Haven't heard of East Lake-Orient Park. Haven't driven through it, done none of that. We have 7 fights in the card because as we went to air, we realized the co-main event, which was for the vacant women's flyweight championship, has fallen off. And
it was going to be the fight
versus Hillary Rose.
Yeah, it was going to be the fight I maybe wanted to bet the most on this whole card. Yeah.
Haracho posted something a week ago about being hurt. I don't know why it's just being announced now.
Just now happening. Well, now we look real unprepared. That's a shame too. I thought Haracho was going to be a big dog there in like an awesome spot too. Yeah, because she's got a, I'll give you the quick breakdown of why I liked it. Is like, not that Hillary Rose isn't good, but she's kind of a journeywoman and she just won the Cage Titans championship. And I think she's just like, if I'm going to get a chance at like one of these big shows, I might as well collect as many like regional belts as I can to like, because, her record doesn't look great. She's kind of a little on the older side. So I think she's just trying to like bounce around and collect as many belts as she can to try to get noticed. But Haracho was like a really fun prospect a few years ago. Like everybody was hyped on her. She's a good from an American top team, but then she kind of took a step away because her record wasn't really great. The level of competition is really high though. And I mean, I thought she was going to absolutely piece up Rose on the feet. So shame that fight's not happening, but I'll dig deep and I'll give you an extra lightning round in its place.
Yeah. You should go to K-Rock MMA on Instagram and check out the gash she has on her knee. It's great. You can almost see the.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
it's like a
massive
cut on
one.
the
You
knee?
can almost see the other side of her knee. It's pretty gross. Pretty gross. So I don't know why it wasn't announced on Tapology and everywhere else earlier, but them's the break. Sorry, kids. I didn't know we had to scroll everyone's Instagram feeds to make sure they're fighting. But these things happen. These things happen in MMA, especially regional MMA. But we will persevere. Gumby will get you a bunch of winners. So, and we'll make him talk longer about the other cards, the other fights that he wants to cover on this year card. So I gave you the rundown of the fight card. We're going to kick things off with no odds yet. Stuff like you're not going to get CFFC odds this early in the week, but we'll be dropping by midweek for you. All right, we're the opener of the main card. William Rentz versus Alius Delarosa. They're both American. They're fighting at 155. Not biting, hopefully. Fighting. I'll tell you about Delarosa first. 3-0. 1 knockout, 2 submissions. This is a CFFC debut. It's going to be interesting to see what Gumby could know about this guy. Rentz, Iron Will, is 5-2 with 5 knockouts. He goes rounds. He's been knocked out 1. All those fights take place in CFFC. He has won 2 straight and 4 out of 5. He's not lost since October 2023. So Delarosa, were you able to find much on this gentleman?
I love when you say, I don't know if Gumby will have any information. And I'm like, wait, hang on a second. hold my beer on this one. He's a 4-time state champion in wrestling from Idaho. So he's like real good amateur level wrestler, probably looked like he was probably on the path to being a college wrestler and then was like MMA instead. I've seen a couple of his fights. He fought for some promotion that really loves sticking their stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I've seen a couple of his fights. Basically what I would say is that like he looks like a high school wrestler. He's like a stocky guy, quick. Clearly his takedowns are good. But the problem is that like it's just not blended well yet. He's clearly a guy who can throw a little bit of his hands and can, shoot a good takedown, but he can't think about both at the same time quite yet, or it doesn't feel like there's a clear transition point between the two yet. It really feels like he's shooting from like far too far away, and it's mostly just because like he stopped striking and the guy moved away and now he's going to shoot the takedown. I'm also like not real sold on his top control yet. One of the things about a wrestler, wrestling and the, freestyle or, amateur or whatever you want to call it, folks, it's technically folk style in high school, right?
Right.
But the thing about folk style wrestling is that like a lot of it is about getting a guy to a certain position. So sometimes that's like letting him up just a little bit so you can roll him, or going under a leg and, try to get the pin. It's not just like holding him wherever you have him. Right. It's not like keeping him in place from half guard or keeping him in place from side control or anything like that. So like with that being said, it seems like a lot of his stuff is he's just not quite good enough at holding his opponents in the position he currently has them in. Now, on the other side, Will Rentz is also kind of leans on his wrestling style. He himself has won most of his fights by being the hammer in those regards. In fact, if you look at his last loss, he lost to Christopher Alvidrez, who's the guy who just beat Cubanza on Contender Series and just looked amazing doing it. Sharp striker. Yep. And Rentz got the grappling going early on him. Like he was taking him down, he's beating him up on top. He actually looked like he was hanging a little bit on the feet. He overextended himself on a hook, and when he went to reset, he ate a counter and got knocked out. But like, I mean, he put it up a better fight than Cubanza did. So like, Rentz looks pretty good in those regards. Having fought a higher level of competition. And then, the other thing I'll add here too is just that like the thing that I think is the biggest weakness in Delarosa, that positioning that I was talking about. I guess I said the blending was, but like the positioning as well. Rentz is really good at jiu-jitsu. Like as soon as you're down, he's passing your guard. As soon as he's on your back, he's like backpack to you. Like he's particularly good at the positional aspects of jiu-jitsu. So I think Rentz is probably, despite having a more experienced record and having fought better competition and having fought for bigger promotions, Delarosa is coming in with like all this hype of being like an undefeated guy with multiple state championships in wrestling. I think he's going to be the slight favorite. I think you'll see a tiny bit of dog money here on Rentz, maybe like plus 110, 120. And I'm going to go with Rentz. I think his ability to put the whole game together, I think his striking's better, and I think his jiu-jitsu should get him out of any wrestling trouble. So I'll take Will Rentz. Also, if you are looking to find film on Will Rentz, because you like to, double check me and something like that, on some of his fights, you have to search for William Rentz, and on other ones, you have to search for Will Rentz. And the annoying thing about UFC Fight Pass is they don't come up both under the same search, which is irritating as hell, but they're all on there. You just have to, change your search terms.
What if you just search Rentz? Will anything come up?
Probably, but I've noticed there was a recent update to Fight Pass for those of you who aren't on it and don't look back at old footage, but they updated it recently, and it's really finicky. If you don't have enough search term in there now, it gives you weird old UFC fights that you're I didn't search for any of these words. And then when you get specific enough, you get the regional guys you want. But then if your specific is spelled wrong, or it's Will Rentz instead of William Rentz, then that goes away too. So it's a nightmare. The user face of UFC Fight Pass continues to be one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Glad it's improving too. That's great. Great to hear. All right, lock in William Rentz. Not many topologists are in on him. 15%. So he maybe get a better line than you hope. So we'll see. All right, before we dive into more plays, let me tell you about mybookie.ag. We are brought to you by them, obviously. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy to deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. They will have CFFC lines dropping. They cover pretty much, I would say, 75% of the regional stuff that we cover, maybe even higher. Head to mybookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. So that's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. And we're also brought to you by NoVig, NOVIG. NoVig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since NoVig is an exchange, you're getting some of the best prices in the market. NoVig is available in 35 plus states. Download the NoVig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with NoVig, promo code SGPN. We are moving on up the old fight card here. We're going to 155 now, or actually we're staying at 155. Levan Khabalaev. He is from Russia. No surprise. Elvin Romero. He is from the United States of America. 3 5-minute rounds, 155. Romero, 4-0 with 4 knockouts. You owe us rounds, sir. This is his LFA debut. He used to fight at 165, a year younger than Khabalaev. Khabalaev, if I'm saying it right, am I saying it right? Is it Khabalaev? Khabalaev. See, of course I'm not. Khabalaev. Yes, it's an EV. Yeah. He is 3-0, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He owes his rounds as well. This is his debut as well. He has not fought since February 2024. He used to fight at 145, 2 inches taller than Romero. Since Gumby apparently likes it, what could you possibly know about either of these guys, Gumby?
I've seen film on both of them. Actually, the interesting thing is I think we broke down Khabalaev. I want to say 6 months ago. He was supposed to fight Cedric Catwambois, who I'm a big fan of both saying his name and his fighting style. He's a really fun striker, and that's the thing I really liked about the fight with Catwambois was that, Khabalaev is also a very fun striker. Perhaps his best trait is his ability to, he'll throw the beginning pieces of a combination, wait for the return, and his head will duck back, and then he'll hit him with the combo. He's got a really good hesitation in his combination that draws out the counter, and then he stabs you with the left hand. And it's real sharp, and he's got big power. That I should correct myself. That was his right hand, because he starts with the jab on the left hand and then he finishes with the right. I would really like to see if he was going to be a prospect that we were going to talk about being in the UFC or moving forward or whatever it might be. I would really like to see more head movement out of him. I think he's so used to being able to just hang out in front of somebody and then pull his head away for a split second and pop him, that his head doesn't doesn't get off the center of line when he's throwing. Someday that's going to cost him. Elvin Romero isn't the guy who's going to make it cost him, because he's he's a big, tall, rangy looking guy, but sort of struggles to find that range or keep that range. It's really easy to crowd him or to get into his space, despite the fact that he is taller than the average opponent he fights. He himself is when he gets into the clinch, and this is probably not going to go to the ground. Khabalaev is not the EV that you expect to be grappling. But like Romero has had a lot of trouble getting off the cage when people pin him against it, which could just be like, even if he were to manage to hurt Khabalaev, like he could just pin him against the cage and then like beat him up with, elbows or whatever he might need there too. And has a bad problem with like reacting too heavily to when people throw big stuff. Which, as I just said, Khabalaev is really good at like drawing out counters and like forcing you to do something. So like if you get a big reaction out of Elvin Romero, like that is just playing perfectly into the hand of Khabalaev. So, if I had to guess the odds, let's see what I wrote down here. I wrote down -275. So, I'm going to guess, pushing 3 bills here on Khabalaev. And I expect him to get a knockout. So give me Levan Khabalaev.
What are the odds of getting a prop knockout play on CFFC?
Low.
That's what I figured.
The thing you don't typically get exact finish props in these kind of fights. So you're not going to be able to find Khabalaev at a by KO or anything like that. But you might find like some of the books do totals. So like you might find under 1.5 as like a much better price than like playing his money line straight up. And I think he finishes it fast. So like, obviously there's going to be more risk there because, what happens if Romero just survives somehow. But like, that's why you're going to get the better odds too. There is a little bit more risk, but I think he finishes it quick.
All right, there you go. Let's move on up the card. We're going to 170 now. Daniel Morrison versus Hugh Pulley. Both Americans. Let's tell you about Pulley first. The Preacher Pulley, 10-8 with 6 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. That means he's durable. He doesn't win a lot, but he's durable. 2-5 in CFFC. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. He's not fought since September 2024. He's not won since July 2023. He went 1-0 in Bellator. RIP to Bellator. Used to fight at 155. 2013 Pro MMA debut. He's 4 inches taller than Morrison. Morrison 6-2, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 1-0 in CFFC. He's won 2 straight and 6 of 7. He's 10 years younger than the Preacher Pulley.
So I'm going to say Morrison is going to be like a -700 favorite here. The record and like Morrison too, it should be noted is like an actual prospect, like somebody who you should keep an eye on. Would not be surprised to see this guy in Contender Series, like, a year or 2 from now, if he, rattled off some really high profile wins. He's got 2 losses on his record, and they're both to guys like we've talked about plenty of times in this show. I think he lost to Richard Mayol early in his career, like real early in his career. And then his most recent loss is to JP St. Louis, who's a pretty damn good regional level fighter too. So like Morrison's fought some like really legitimate dudes. And actually his last fight, the guy he fought was 9-0. And he took him out of there too. So like, really impressive stuff from Morrison. With that being said, if he comes in at -700, I would just say like, he doesn't need to be in your parlays. The couple of cents he's going to give you is probably not it. Cause Hugh Pulley, I know he's older now and he's not what he was as a younger fighter, but this dude has fought so many high profile and he's beaten high profile fighters. This is one of the 2 losses on Grant Dawson's record is Hugh Pulley. It's King Bobby Green in the UFC and Hugh Pulley by elbows in like 30 seconds on the regional scene. So like Pulley is and he fought Drakkar Close before he made it to the UFC. Like this is a guy who's just like been in there with some killers. The problem is now that he's aged, there's like no striking left to what he does anymore. It's pretty much just boils down to his like grappling and like ground and pound game. And he's like slower now. So it like, what was once there that made me like fear him is kind of like waned away to the point where like now he's just kind of like hanging around and he's the guy who they need to test Daniel Morrison on, right? It's like, can you beat the guy who's kind of like past his prime and slowing down quite a bit? And like I think Morrison can. I'm not like blowing up my parlay at -700 to give it a shot though. And like because like Pulley is been in there now. With that being said, Morrison's takedown defense, it looks really good. It has against everybody. Has he fought anybody Pulley's level in terms of wrestling? Maybe not. But also, like, the transitions of Pulley and from his striking to his grappling aren't what they used to be, and certainly not with the speed. On the feet, I think this is wildly one-sided. I think Morrison's going to absolutely piece him up. Morrison is very fast, especially for a welterweight. He moves like a guy who's 20, 30 pounds lighter than he is. He's got a really, really, really sharp 1-2 that I personally like quite a bit. The only thing I would say about his 1-2 is it's a touch predictable. Like you can kind of see like jab there. Here comes the 1-2, 1-2. And then he'll like circle away. And then you'll see a couple of jabs again. And you're like, here it comes again. Cause it just like he gets in a rhythm and just kind of throws the same thing over and over again. But I think with the fact that he has such a speed advantage over Pulley, I don't think that's going to matter all that much here. So give me Daniel Morrison. My guess is an enormous favorite that you probably don't want to touch in your parlays. But like, I still think he's going to win here.
Gumby says, don't let Morrison slide into your parlays, right? That's what you're warning everyone
right.
About not doing. All right, before we get to the main event of the evening, we do still have a title fight on the card. This one was a stacked fight card. It's still a pretty solid one. Let me tell you about Underdog. Underdog Fantasy is a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. It's available for a ton of sports. Gumby will tell you about one such sport right now.
Yeah, so, it's baseball season, and today is Monday, so we'll kick it over to Dodgers versus Phillies is our first game tonight. I'm going to take the higher than on Blake Snell's strikeouts. Phillies got a couple of guys in their order who, they strike out once in a while. That Kyle Schwarber guy, he doesn't not strike out, that's for damn sure. And if you look in his last 3 starts, Snell has actually struck out 28 guys over his last 3 starts, and that's only in 19 innings. So, he's been racking them up anyway. I think he'll continue to rack them up here.
All right. And listen to this. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our code and only our code, MMA SGPN. And Gumby was mentioning Rhythm earlier. Now we're going to tell you about Rhythm. It's spelled RITHMM. Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL. Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you can win $1,000. Gumby's probably got to play for you right now. Probably football, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let's kick it over to football. Monday Night Football tonight. We got the Chiefs. We got the Jaguars. I know the Chiefs have not looked like the old Chiefs, the dangerous Chiefs, but look, I still think they're head and shoulders better than the Jaguars, and they're only laying 3.5 here. So give me the Chiefs laying the points.
All right. See if Rhythm agrees. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. So download Rhythm, RITHMM, and use our promo code SGPN25. All right. Main event time. And it's for a vacant belt. So, I have a question coming up. Cage Fury FC. Vacant.
I have the answer today.
Why is it good? Why is it vacant, Gumby?
You remember Eric Nolan, who made his debut in the UFC recently?
I do.
He's the one who fought Basinger, Sister Kayev, and actually looked pretty damn good against Basinger, Sister Kayev, until he didn't. He was the CFFC welterweight champion. So obviously his belt is now vacant now that he's in the UFC. And these are the 2 guys who are going to throw down for it.
All right. Kevin Pease, Pease versus Ethan Pauley. They're fighting 5-minute rounds for 170
Got a sick
pounds.
nickname too.
It is. I'll tell you in a sec. Pauley first. Pauley 7-1 with 6 knockouts, 6 submissions. Sorry, I almost made him a striker. He is a grappler. So 7-1, 6 submissions. He's never been finished himself. This is his Cage Fury debut. He's won 4 straight. Submission win in his last bout. He's fought at 185, 6 inches taller than Pease. Sweet Pease. Great nickname.
Love it.
6-0. He sounds like an old-time boxer. 6-0 with 1 no contest, 1 knockout, 3 submissions. He's 4-0 in CFFC. He has won 4 straight. He's not fought those since August 2024. 1-0 in PFL. He's fought at 155. A draw as a professional grappler. Over to you.
Yeah, I think Kevin Pease is going to be a massive favorite here. -300, -325, and he's my pick. Look, he's coming off that PFL win over Nick Mack. Nick Mack, hell of a wrestler. Collegiate wrestling background, if I'm not mistaken, for Nick Mack. I'm not sure how high it goes, but I don't think he's like, All-American or anything like that. But he dealt with him in PFL. You might remember Nick Mack. Remember we talked about him? He's King Black Cat. Remember King Black Cat?
No, I don't. Why don't I remember that? That's a great name.
Yeah, King
Maybe
Black
I got
Cat.
a new name.
King Black Cat versus Sweet Pease on that one. And like, look, Kevin Pease, looks really good. Southpaw, likes the loopy left, likes to try to hurt you. He's quick with his strikes, but maybe not all that diverse with them. But nevertheless, he's got pretty good takedown defense. He's been able to keep his feet in a lot of his fights. And I really think that's pretty much all he has to do to beat Pauley here. Because Pauley is like very simple in what he wants to do. Like you mentioned, he got a bunch of submission wins. Dude just wants to take you down, wants to grind. He's a put you up against the fence and hold you there kind of guy. Looking for, here's the other problem I have. Like Pease is already good with his takedown defense. It's already held up against high-level opponents, and we're going to see Pauley go in there with pretty much just like upper body trip attempts. They've worked for him for a while, but like at a certain point, you hit the CFFC championship level, right? Like that's the next step. That's where that kind of stuff stops working, at least unless you've got some like real fancy tricks or you got good misdirection. And I just don't see that for Pauley. So I'm going to go with Kevin Pease. I think he stuffs the takedowns. He looks way sharper on the feet and he wins this one kind of easy.
All right. What was the number again you said off top?
I said 325 maybe.
All right. So closer than the co-main event, at least. All right.
The Morrison Pulley one. Yeah. I was looking at Haracho versus Rose again. I was like, I don't know. That one would have been close.
I know. All right. He's got Pease. He's got Morrison. He has got Khabalaev. He has got Rentz. All right. Lightning round. Zap, bang, boom, pow. We're going to press him now that we lost a fight here. We're going to make him give you more plays.
Yeah.
There's not many more to choose from, really, though. 3 more fights, I guess, in the card.
Yeah. Ben, you want a pick for all of them? I can give you a pick for all of them. I like Matt Hammerstone, which is A, a sick name, and B, he's a pretty good wrestler. He's 2-1. Possibly could get him at dog money because the other guy's record looks a little bit better, but I really like his top control. Lucas Cortez is a guy who I'm going to take. Really crazy amateur ranking record for this guy. Despite being only 2-0 in the pro ranks, he's fought Thad Jean already. PFL champion Thad Jean, and he's also fought Chris Mixon, who's like a pretty well-known regional fighter as well. He lost to both those guys, but like had showings against both those guys. So like that's kind of fun. And then let's see the other one, which is the only fight I don't have a pick for. Oh, I've seen Alessio Casori fight before. He's kind of fun. He's an Italian guy who is a pretty young American top team dude. And he's fought like 900 times as an amateur. He just turned pro, but you'd usually worry like, oh, why is he turning pro after this many amateur fights? Why didn't he turn pro earlier? He is only 24, so I think it was just that he was young, and American top team tends to do it right. He's getting an 0-0 fighter who kind of got beat up on the amateur rankings too. So let's go Alessio Sakori, Lucas Cortez, Matt Hammerstone.
All right, there you go. You got the whole card. Now, don't you add any more fights, CFFC, or you're going to make us lie.
Or find Hillary Rose somebody to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
That strawweight belt's gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, that was vacated by Fatima Klein. I had the answer to that question ready.
Oh, see, that's the main reason why he was upset that that belt fell through. All right, we'll be in the Discord. Check us out there, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Check us out on YouTube. That will be MMA Gambling Podcast. Check us out on Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer, at Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram. Check out my Substack. Lots of MMA writing, obviously, and since it's an MMA Substack, and a free UFC pick'em contest at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA Podcast. He's got a whole cache of interviews ready to roll. You want to give people a selection of what you might hear?
You're gonna see Eduardo Pena, but you also might see Ayman Zahabi, Melissa Croden. We'll probably hold on to Abdul Karim El Sawadi a little closer to the Dubai fights or Abu Dhabi fights, which is when he's throwing down. But you'll get some combination of guys you've heard of.
All right. Check out Top Turtle every week. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Back tomorrow for UFC, and then the next day, UFC and Contender Series. Gumby, bid the people farewell.
All right, I'm Daniel Gumby Vreeland. He's King Black Cat, Jeff Fox, and we will see you on Wednesday.